Namaste. I see the divine in you as you see the divine in me. Namaste. And isn't this always the most beautiful way to greet each other? As I see the divine in you and you see the divine in me, we learn to see divine love consciousness. For we are part of the great divine, and at this time the great Chiron and Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great are calling us back to the great loving healing flows so that we can become part of the great collective love consciousness. And to be part of that is something really, really incredible, because we haven't been able to be part of that collective love consciousness since the times of the fall of Lemuria. So when Lemuria fell, we lost all our galactic collective love consciousness codes so that we could not return as a collective. So on this plane, we have been in human form, suffering for many, many lifetimes, and also good lifetimes, enjoying it and also learning the other sides of human consciousness, until the time came of the great alignment, which is in this lifetime, and when the great Chiron was going to call us back, then we would have an inner knowing of those who would be ready to awaken, to come back to the great healing alignments. So this is happening at this time. And Chiron is calling all who desire to align back up to the love. And at the divine pineal gland activations, we receive our codes of love back, which means that great star beings are able to bring us back to the galactic collective love consciousness very, very slowly, so that we can align to higher star love frequencies very, very slowly, as we fell so far away from our collective love consciousness since the fall of Lemuria. So when we were Lemurians, we were in a very, very high collective love consciousness, and we worked together with very, very high star beings. But when the fall came, we were let go, which has meant that all of the human experiences have been far away from what was. So we fell so greatly that we don't even understand how greatly we fell. So I am very, very grateful to Divine Love for allowing this time to happen, so that we can learn to grow back in galactic collective love consciousness very, very slowly in the healing grids that the great Chiron has built for us. So welcome to the times of the great alignment, and welcome to the great pyramid building of the great light of Chiron. My name is Suzanna Maria Emmanuel, and I'm the designated channel for Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, and also the designated channel for Chiron as his Universal Light Grid Programmer. And I'm going to read out the forgiveness statement now, and then I'm going to be very, very quiet and close my eyes to allow you to hear the greatest teachings from divine realms. Chiron, I bring you now into my spaces of love and healing. I ask for your presence and for your love to be with me at this time. I forgive all that has caused my pain to happen. I release it now. I allow the angels to take it away from me. I bring in the love and the peace, and I desire to understand more joy and self-love. I surround myself with the highest loving divine beings who are here to take care of me. I let go of all fear within me. I release it. I trust that all things are perfect as they are. I'm ready to love myself and all of life more. Thank you, Chiron. Thank you, great divine love. And thank you very much for joining us and watching. Namaste. Greetings, dear brothers and sisters, dear sons and daughters in the light. I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, and I welcome all who desire to become part of the greatest love consciousness in the universal love. Happy is the one who is listening to these words, for that one is truly blessed for eternal lifetimes. Happy is the one who desires to feast from the greatest knowledge of the great love, for they will be fattened with spiritual knowledge and spiritual wealth. Happy is the one who desires to understand how to attain the greatest spiritual treasures, for that one will always be rich in the spiritual treasures, and that one will always be truly happy in all that they receive. Happy is the one who desires to walk the highest ways of the truth and the great knowledge and the great freedom, for then they are walking the path of the great awakened heart. And so it is, dear ones. Are you desiring to find the highest gifts of the greatest knowledge? Are you desiring to find the greatest treasures of the universe? Do you desire to find the greatest secrets to all of existence? Welcome to the great Sun consciousness alignment, when all will come to all those who desire to be with the holy ones. 2,000 years ago, when my designated channel Jesus was upon your plane, he constantly taught the people about the great love. Happy is the one who finds the greatest path to the great love, for that one will find eternal peace within. And so it is that the same channel has returned, and I, as Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, always promise to the people, I will return. And when I return, the people will see me, but who will be awake at the times of my great return to desire to see the great Lord. Many will want to hide in the caves. Please, Lord, I do not want to see the great truth, for we have caused so much harm in your name. Others will not desire to see my being, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, because they have not been following the highest path of the love. And they will look into all of history, and they will see what all the lies have done to your plane and to your people, and they cannot face it. Happy is the one who is in the love and in the forgiveness power, for that one will truly find the greatest road to the great love. And yes, and all these words have become fulfilled now, for I have returned with my great messenger, and Suzanna Maria Emmanuel is rising in her greater strength, and I bless her so very much. And I, as the great Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, will not use any other channel, for my divine ways, because I have created this channel to be that word, to be that divine way, to be that divine roadway, for there cannot be an other, for she has always received the greatest flame of the great Holy Spirit that I am. So in the times of Jesus, the people recognized it of those who desired to listen to my words as the great Father Emmanuel. And it is so that those who recognize it at this time are finding the highest ways of peace and of love, for they are seeing a great return happening. Happy is the one who understands these times, for they are sheltered. Happy is the one who understands it and acts upon these messages, for they are truly shepherded into the greatest gifts, and they will delight at all the ways of the great Father, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. 2,000 years ago, when people listened to the messages being spoken through Jesus, my designated channel, they heard many ways and many teachings and many words. They heard about the great talents that were going to be given to the people. A talent was a great gift. A talent was to be honored, and it was a state of richness. The people in those days understood it. And so Jesus brought through the following words. There was a great master, and he gave talents to each of his sons. And each of his sons went out with the talents. And the great master was going to see who would produce the greatest gifts with the great talents. The first one only achieved to have a dog by his side. He did not achieve any more. The next one he achieved buying a mill, and he honored that mill, for it could feed his family. But the next one was clever, and he used it for many purposes, and it gave him more and more riches, for he traded wisely. Which one was the wisest of the three? The people 2,000 years ago understood it very much, for they understood that the third one was the wisest, for using the talent given could repay him over and over again until he became very, very rich. And then Jesus stated, so the Father will also give the great talents to the ones who are listening and the ones who are ready to take on the greater gifts. And the greatest ones will sit at the Father's table, and they will be eternally blessed in the greatest heavens. Who will be that one, and who will be those ones? For the great Father will constantly be testing to see who will be the wisest. In those days, the people did not understand what Jesus was meaning. What talents are those then, Jesus? And Jesus stated, with my being sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, it is not yet the time to know when the great Father will give those talents to the ones who are opening with a great heart. But when he does return and starts to give the talents, then know these very words, for these words will be of great importance to you. Put them into your heart and place them deep within you. For when the great call comes, then you will know that the great Father is calling you to awaken you. And so the people left that day. Here I am as the great sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, awakening the ones who were in love with the teachings of Jesus 2,000 years ago. Were you one of those people who listened to that very teaching? And Jesus often brought those teachings through. So it wasn't just on one occasion. He went from village to village, opening the hearts of the people who would be able to become awakened at this time, 2,000 years later. Who of the ones who were present with Jesus 2,000 years ago would rise up again at this time and say, Lord, please awaken me. I will receive those talents. What is it that you would have me do? To be as wise as that third one who received the talents and began to work with it so much that it would eternally give the treasures. I, as the great sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, am looking for the ones who desire to feast in the greatest spaces, in the greatest realms. And Jesus talked about these realms so often 2,000 years ago, because they would be the ones that would be assigned to very great activity in the spiritual realms. Those ones would have received the great gifts, the great flames of purification at the divine pineal gland activations happening at this time. They would go to the great mountain of healing and of light, which is the great and holy Chiron, the greatest archangel in existence, the one who I have assigned to with the greatest power to bring back all the ones who desire to grow into the love consciousness. A long time ago I stated to the great Chiron, now go and test then, since the gates of the greatest testings have been opened, and then after it has been completed, bring back all the ones who can be saved and return them to the greatest realms for those ones who will listen to my messenger, to the word that I will send to the earth plane. And so it is that the great time of the great gifts has arrived. I, sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, have created provisions and flames of a holy seal for those who become activated and cleansed in the purification gifts and flames, for those ones who become activated at this time, because they have the opportunity to sit at the highest state of being, of possible being, at the side of the great ones. So at the purifications, at the flames of purifications, when all the human history of karma has been released from the people who come to the holy mountain of healing and light, which are the divine pineal gland activations happening upon your plane at this time with the great Chiron, are gifted talents. These talents are worth more than your present life. These talents are worth more than the whole universe. These talents are worth more than you can possibly comprehend as humans. And it is the test indeed who will do what with those talents. For indeed many will not do much. They will be like that one, receiving a dog and nothing more. They will be happy with their animals, and they will share their animals with people, and they will share their words with people, but not do much. Then many others will do more, and they will be like that one in the parable, perhaps buy a small farm or a small house, and that is creating abundance with the manifestation gifts that the great Chiron gifts. They will do not much more either. They will not do the greater work that can take place. And then there is the third one, who decides to be wise and begins to trade. What does this mean? That one begins to multiply. That one learns the power of multiplication and goes out to teach and receive so many gifts, because when they do the teaching work and when they go and collect those to come to the greater mountain of light, that one will receive more and more riches than they possibly can understand, and all their rewards will be counted greatly in the great spaces of the feast in the greater heavens. For then all will be counted. How much did they do with those gifts? How much did those talents multiply? What did they do with the most incredible talents that a human could possibly receive at any time? And then those ones who have multiplied time and time again and became the great traders on a spiritual level, who learned so much about traveling and gained the greater numbers, they will be seated at the great spaces, for they will have learned collective love consciousness, and it will have come from their heart, for one can only receive the great multiplication of their talent when one truly is in the heart, for that is the greatest talent of all. Will that one truly open the heart? So the work is so great, and the harvest is great, and it is ready to be done. Let the joy become so great in the holy work. There has not been a time in your human history that has been as holy as and important as in this lifetime. Now is the time of the great gathering that Jesus also spoke about 2,000 years ago. Where are the workers for the ripe fields? The people are waking up. They need teaching and guidance. They need love and instruction. Will you be one that desires to come to the great mountain of healing and of light, the great and holy Chiron, who will gift you those talents and give to you the greatness of being able to return to the greater spaces. Will you receive the flames of the great purification, so that your gifts can multiply, so that you can become so abundant with your love and all you desire, so that you can grow in the eternal love spaces. It is all an opportunity, and you do not need to come if you do not desire to. Even the people 2,000 years ago, when they listened to Jesus, knew that. Jesus always stated, the great Father is looking for those who desire the ways of the highest truth. It is a difficult path to walk upon, for it is only those who can be in the heart of the love and forgiveness who can truly state, Lord, send me. I am ready to do the great work. Many people, the great majority, cannot do this highest path because it is not part of them. They do not have the great heart of love. They do not have the desire to multiply the great talents. They do not have the desire to come into the greatest love realms and be seated at my side. They do not have the desire to feast from the great wine and to have the greatest eternal happiness. For them they cannot have it. I am calling the ones who desired to listen to the words of Jesus and loved the channel Jesus and learned to walk the highest path then, for they are within your world and they are living upon your plane, and they will know who they are, for the great love will be shining within. Greetings, I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great.
Greetings.